Success is often framed as a simple matter of persistence. Michael Jordan's warning that quitting once makes it a habit has become a standard lens through which we view professional and personal achievement. This perspective creates a specific pressure that keeps people anchored to failing projects and miserable careers. Because walking away is branded as a failure of character, we stay long after the path has stopped producing results. This state of paralysis mirrors a centuries-old logic puzzle known as Buridan's donkey. In the experiment, a donkey is placed perfectly equidistant between a bucket of water and a pile of hay. It is both hungry and thirsty, but because it refuses to move away from one resource to reach the other, it remains frozen until it dies of thirst. Humans experience this same trap whenever we use the word but. We want the fulfillment of a new career, but we also want the safety and status of the current job. We end up stuck in the middle, unwilling to choose. Staying stuck usually signals a lack of a diagnostic framework, a way to identify when a struggle is a productive hurdle and when it is simply a dead end. To solve this, author Seth Godin suggests dividing all difficult pursuits into two categories: the dip and the cul-de-sac. This line represents the dip, a predictable phase of friction between starting and achieving excellence. Pre-med students face this in organic chemistry, a deliberate barrier to filter out the uncommitted. In a dip, your effort pays off on the other side. The cul-de-sac follows different logic. The effort line enters a flat, circular loop where results never improve. This is the reality of an abusive boss or a dying industry. Working harder doesn't change the structural ceiling. Time spent here yields zero upward momentum. Strategic quitting is the act of identifying a cul-de-sac and exiting it as quickly as possible. This preserves the resources you need to survive a high-stakes dip. If a cul-de-sac is a dead end, why do we stay? The answer lies in the cognitive traps that govern our decision-making. We are hardwired for loss aversion. We often prioritize protecting the time or money we've already spent, the sunk costs, even when doing so ruins our future potential. Breaking this trap requires viewing past investments differently. A miserable 3-year law degree isn't a debt that must be repaid with more of your life. It is a gift from your former self, and you are free to decline it. We also struggle with resistance. The fear of temporary public embarrassment or a loss of social standing acts as a powerful anchor, keeping us in place long after we know we should leave. Many people use perfectionism to hide this fear. By claiming a project simply isn't ready yet, we avoid the risk of shipping something and being judged for it. Staying stuck isn't an indicator of high standards. It is a surrender to cognitive bias and the fear of social friction. Strategic quitting reallocates your most finite capital, your time and attention, away from dead ends and toward a productive practice. Once you stop defending your past mistakes, you can focus on the mechanics of mastery. This shift in focus is best understood through the way we learn to juggle. Beginners usually fail at juggling because they are obsessed with the catch. They lunge for the balls, throwing themselves out of position to avoid the embarrassment of a drop. Mastery requires moving the focus exclusively to the throw. If you perfect the process of the release, the catch becomes a byproduct of the practice. Surviving a dip requires the same focus on the practice rather than the outcome. It means being willing to be bad at something, and even being embarrassed by it, while you refine the process. Success depends on abandoning dead ends early enough to preserve the energy and resilience required for the dips that actually matter.